Hey, good morning. Um, just a couple of quick things I want to go over. You know, this whole thing that I'm doing has been around creating awareness around the disease of alcoholism and recovery. So, and the disease of alcoholism and addiction affects the alcoholic, of course. It affects the family, and often the family's forgotten. Often the family's forgotten, and there's such misunderstanding in it with the family, like really. And who else is forgotten or doesn't understand the disease a lot is the employer. If you think of the cost of addiction and alcoholism to our economy, it's phenomenal. And I'm not going to go too deep into that, but it's huge. It really is. So anyway, a couple of quick things. People have been saying, how can they contribute? Because I've been doing this. I've done over 800 videos, and I've never really asked for anything ever. So I'm putting up a Patreon channel soon. I'm kind of working on that to get some help because this is what I end up doing a lot of, and I'm not looking to rich, but it would be help pay bills and stuff. And also have a Battling Beyond is .ca still has lots of product and that we've had over the years. So battelingbeyond.ca, if you want to go there and look at meditation stools and altars and singing bowls and all that stuff, there's still some of that there. So yeah, feel free. Okay, so I just wanted to say I post these sometimes on groups, and I've been posting recently on a group called C.G. Jung and the Creative Bridge. So Carl Gustav Jung was a great psychologist, I believe a psychiatrist, around the turn of the century, kind of the father of a lot of modern thought around psychology and psychiatry, and this lady wrote a note, and she said the success rate for addicts is very low. Yes, prognosis is not good. There's no question. A new system needs to be formulated, she said. AA is from 1935 and NA is 1965. About absolute abstinency is too much to ask from these addicts. No drinking, not even weed. The tension between being completely sober and being a full-blown addict is too great. There needs to, she says, there needs to be a middle ground somewhere. Ease tension of the opposite at a worldwide recovery rate from drugs at about 5%. Something really needs to be done. And wow, she's right. There's like, yeah, the prognosis is not good. And what's interesting is that Jung said that. If you ever look at our 12-step book, Jung said that. He said that the prognosis is not good. The chronic alcoholic. And so I wrote her a note back today, and I'll just read it to you. I said, yes, interesting. It was Jung in the 30s that said, in his opinion, the prognosis for the chronic alcoholic is hopeless. His direction was a complete psychic change. So the spiritually based realignment prescribed successfully in AA and related programs, according to Jung, can work, and as we see, does work. So it does work. But what is it that keeps it from, so it's not working for, 50% instead of 5 to 10% of, I mean, the 12 steps is the only path that has great success, but it's still like, you know, the way more people die from the disease than get well, like way more. It's just unbelievable, and the numbers are terrible. So I said I totally agree that the numbers seem poor. My opinion is that the problem exists in misunderstanding, prejudice, and fear in society. My hope is to shine the light of awareness on the disease and the solution. I believe that many people are doing the same. Education, empathy, listening, love can do uh, love can and do lift us from shame, fear, and misunderstanding that keep the addict repeating behaviors till death. So, um, that's really my mission. It really is to carry a message, to shine the light, if you will, on on creating awareness around the disease and the recovery. And and people prejudice keeps us often, we're like, the alcoholic has a huge ego. The addict has a huge ego. And we sometimes he can be diagnosed as a narcissist, or but I believe it's part of the disease. And so it's hard when we have a huge ego to say, okay, I'm going to turn my will and my life over to the care of a higher power that I don't understand and don't believe in. And yet that's what works. And we have this huge shift that Jung spoke about. He said that that the prognosis was not good. That for the chronic alcoholic it was hopeless. And but since the dawn of time, people have been having these amazing shifts. And often they came like a huge spiritual experience. And now what we see is that it can be it can be developed. William James, who was a writer around the turn of the century and quite a famous chap, in his book of Variety of Religious Experiences, said that we could have an educational variety of an awakening. And that's truly what's happened, for me. I didn't have a burning bush experience. I didn't have my experience has been over the years of looking and searching and praying and trying to how do I access this door? Where do I find the door? How do I get into this new way of living? And so I get to stay sober all those years, but the transition from what's in it for me, selfishness, self-centeredness, from that view of the world to a view of how can I serve, how can I give back, how can I help, took a long time. And so I have to say that I think I continued to cause damage through the years, although I wasn't killing myself with drugs and alcohol. And I mean, that's the lowest bar. We want to stop using and drinking. The gal in her note there just said, she said, so couldn't we just cut back? Well, there's on top of the mental and emotional thing that we have as addicts and alcoholics, there seems to also be a physical thing that happens, a craving that happens. So when we start to drink, the craving comes, and it becomes paramount. It floods our mind. And there isn't a way, once we've started, we're without defense, we're screwed. So no, the alcoholic and the addict, history has taught us, you just can't continue to drink. There has to be entire abstinence. That's not, I'm not making that shit up. I'm not trying to take anything from anybody. I just recognize that it just doesn't work any other way. And for those that are watching, well, how's it work for you when you have a couple of drinks? If you're an alcoholic and addict, can you have a couple of drinks? No. So that's the deal. So a huge shift needs to happen. Now, for the family, often family is just like the addict and the alcoholic, thinking that something someday will shift, some mysterious thing will happen. I'm and we're hanging on to the idea that the alcoholic or the addict will somehow raise out of their lethargy. Well, my encouragement is to find recovery, your own recovery, to begin your own program of a what we call a spiritual experience or a psychic change. And there's programs like Al-Anon to do that. And so if you're stressed, worried, laying awake at night, worried about your addict or your alcoholic, who might be your son or your daughter, or might be your husband or your mother or father, whoever it is, might be a husband or a wife. And if you're stressed and you're trying to, you're tiptoeing around trying to see how you can help without offending them, because practicing alcoholics are very, very easily offended. And we don't want to offend them. We don't want to hurt them. We don't want to upset them, right? Those are symptoms of the family disease. Those are symptoms of the family disease. And so, yeah, I'm going to suggest that there is recovery from that. Your alcoholic or addict may never recover. Period. It's just, that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's a fact. It may never recover. So, let's get us well. I was also brought up in an alcoholic home, suffered as a child, lots of trauma because of that, lots of broken promises, lots of, you know, violence. And so I can relate to what that looks like. And, we grow up. Uh, I don't know about that. It's growing up is a process. It doesn't happen because we've gotten older. It happens because we recognize our place and that we're here to serve. We really are. We're not, you know, yeah, we're here to serve. So um, recognize that there is wellness, there's freedom available for you, for the family, and it doesn't mean that we have to throw the alcoholic out. That may happen, but it's not necessarily true. I mean, it just means that we get our recovery, and we learn how to not enable the alcoholic and the addict. So my heart goes out to family, and I want to. My intention is to shine a light over and over again on the recovery process, because it is there, and not to exclude any other processes. I don't think that therapy is a bad thing. I think that therapy is, anything that helps us to see ourselves is a good thing. I forget who it was, Socrates or Plato. Somebody said, know thyself. And so if you're seeing a therapist, or you're going to therapy groups, go and get to see who we are, not from a victim standpoint, but from a who am I? How am I reacting to the world around me? And I think those things are good. I think that reading inspirational material is good. I've bookshelves full of books. 40 years of looking, trying to figure out what was going on with David. Why was I reacting the way I was? Why was I, often sabotaging? And so, yeah, it's all been part of the process of changing the way, literally the way we think. And my thinking clearly went from, an idea that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not smart enough, or that I don't deserve love, or all of those, some of those very deeply hidden ideas, to an idea of recognizing that I'm one with the universe, that I am love, and that we all are. And we don't. It's not that we deserve love; we are love, and into that realization, that conscious experience of love, that conscious experience of a higher power, and that can be there for all of us. It really is available, and you know, and, but yeah, I'm open always to talk about that. We're going to read a little bit from the what day is it? It's the 4th. Oh, that's right. Today's the day that gives us direction. It says March 4th. March 4th. uh, that's fun. Anyway, March 4th. Um, March 4th. Here we go. Having surrendered, this is from our little book, the 24-hour day book we've been reading from for a long time. Having surrendered our lives to God and put our drink problem in His hands doesn't mean that we're never tempted to drink. It says, so we must build up strength for the time when temptation will come. So it's not really strength, it's our spiritual bank account, if you will. I mean, there's lots of ways of looking at it, and being spiritually fit. And for me, I encourage people with daily practices. How do we, drop in each day? And we're going to meditate for a few minutes at the end here, because that's part of daily practices, right? And I think that a lot of times we're confused about that. So my job is to shine a light on what do daily practices mean. This is one of them. There's a number of books. I have a whole swag of them here that are books that we can read. Upon Awakening it comes out of the big book we can read on a daily basis, and Daily Reflections. There's lots of really good books that are there, to especially around addiction and recovery. So we must build up strength, it says, for the time when temptation will come. In this quiet time, we read and pray and get our minds in the right mode for the day. Starting the day right is a great help in keeping sober. As the days go by and we get used to the sober life, it gets easier and easier. We begin to develop great or deep gratitude to God for saving us from the old life. And we begin to enjoy peace and serenity and real quiet happiness. Hey, that's a nice description of the possibility of a life, isn't it? Meditation for the day. The elimination of selfishness is the key to happiness and can only be accomplished with God's help. So a higher power leads us to this, from a self-centered, uh, you know, fearful, self-pitying type of a life to a life of gratitude and service. Imagine a life of gratitude and service. Nothing's missing. Shit day. I love it. We start out with a spark. We start out with a spark of the divine spirit, but a large amount of selfishness. But a large amount of selfishness. As we grow and come in contact with other people, we can take one of two paths. We become more and more selfish and practically extinguish the divine spark within us, or we can become more unselfish and develop our spirituality until it becomes the most important thing in our lives. That's the whole thing. It really is. It's an amazing when we think of what's the psychic change. That's the psychic change. We go from what's in it for me to how can I serve thee. I mean, it's thee being mankind, thee being, where can I serve? And my prayer every morning is, put me in, coach. How can I make a difference? Where can I help out? Where can I, and the results are not up to me. It's just like, just keep putting in and showing up, and the results are not up to any one of us. I pray that I may grow, this is the prayer for the day, I pray that I may grow more and more unselfish, honest, pure, and loving. I pray that I may take the right path every day. Hoorah. Hoorah. So that's it. Simple. And so the other thing besides, doing a daily reading like that and helping others is to have a little meditation time. So we're going to do that right now. And just, like 3 minutes. Literally, it's not going to be long. We're just going to do like 3 minutes, quick one, drop in. So close your eyes. Just close your eyes. One of the things about closing your eyes is that most of us have experienced the world out here. And we're always looking out. We're always searching, for something out here. And let's experience the world in here. And Bill Wilson says that deep down inside every man, woman, and child is a fundamental idea of God or universal intelligence or higher power or father of light, whatever you want to call it. And so how can we, get deep down inside? We need to close our eyes. So we close our eyes. We're just going to take about 3 minutes here together. But you can stay longer. When I'm done, you can stay longer. Just drop in. Just follow the breath. Your breath is, a beautiful marker for the moment. We want to be here and be present. Be in the breath. Focus on the breath. Become aware of the breath. Conscious of the breath. So just drop in, and for just a minute, we'll just have a quick look at the body because we're dropping into, metaphorically into the body. And so recognize, that bring your attention just for a minute into the body, into your feet, into your calves, into your knees, into your thighs, into your butt, to your hips, to your belly. Just bring your attention into your back, up your back, to your shoulders, let your shoulders drop. Into your chest, to your heart. Bring your attention into your lungs, to your neck, to your head, your skull. It's the middle of your forehead. To your eyes, just let your eyes relax in their sockets. To your nose and your tongue and your mouth, your lips, your chin, just let your jaw drop. Back down your neck into your shoulders, to your arms, elbows, forearms, to your hands, your fingers. Brought your attention to most areas of your body. Literally imagine energy, light in your body moving. Let's say it moves in your nervous system, in your blood system. Light goes everywhere. We are bodies of light. And light is love. So we are bodies of love. Our breath brings that love and that light into our body. Because we're surrounded by love and light. Just watch our thoughts. Remember that we're not our thoughts. They're random. They just come up. You get attached to them. Just gently let them go. Just gently set them down. Come back to your breath. Okay, just come back when you're ready. If not, just stay there. You don't have to come back. Stay in your meditation for as long as you like. Drop in. Drop in as deep as you can. Okay, love you guys. I'm gonna go. If you're on YouTube, love it if you subscribe. Cheers. Bye.